What's up, everybody? We back with another message, another video. Thank you to all my new subscribers and future new subscribers. You know we do nothing here without God because everything is spiritually led by God over here. We cover the world from a spiritual and physical aspect to get the raw, real, and uncut answers. So anything you hear, anything you see in these end times, may you test the spirits, aka take the words and visuals back to prayer with God, as there are many Decepticons running around in these end times sent from the enemy, had a strong, close, and personal relationship with God. Good, great, and awesome. All right, everybody, June 27, 2024, on a good old Thursday. Clarification / word here, a little mix and match of both, all right? Giving y'all clarity about the two videos regarding this Coinbase situation and what God was saying overall, but I'm going to simplify it for people so they can understand what the problem was and what this is all about. So for the first video, where basically, did you ask God before resetting? That's the theme of the video. There were two main points: what Satan was trying to do long game and what God was upset about that people did or how they operated. The reason the Lord was upset with people is because they didn't ask him before making a move. You didn't ask him before resetting, for the people that didn't ask. You just kind of assumed and you moved. And that's not how we need to be operating. And that's why in the community post, when he was kind of giving me the beginning pieces of understanding, but told me to put it, he was saying, hey, tell them, don't set the order. Do not reset order. And he put that first and then said, seek me, seek your Father. So he was telling people, do not reset. Come to your Father for further instruction. But people didn't do that out of fear of missing out. So that was the number one point. You always need to go to God and don't follow behind other people, right? Now, point number two was the Lord revealing to me how Satan is trying to maneuver and him basically telling on himself and them saying, hey, we're looking very closely, book health, keep records at what's going on with these people's accounts and why they set this particular order for this coin. You got to think about it for a second from a spiritual and physical perspective. Spiritually, Satan is trying to do what he's doing because he doesn't want as many people as possible to be successful. Number two, Satan, he simply is using the greed of the people in the world because they want to figure out what's going on. They want the funds. They want as much as they can get. So he can use them to kind of initiate his plans. So when it comes down to it, the Lord has given you a heads up, because the truth is, not a lot of people know how to operate through this crypto space, not cautiously. So by him telling somebody to reset their orders, they now have to move cautiously. You can't just do things the way you were doing it, but that's not how people are going to move or operate. They're not. Because if you don't seek him, you're not going to know how to move and operate cautiously. And that's another big problem. That's video number one in a nutshell. You understand? Many didn't ask the Lord for permission. Now let's talk about the second aspect, where for the second video, where the Lord was giving me confirmation that even canceled orders would be filled. And that doesn't make a lot of sense to people. And that's because you're thinking on how things work on earth, how things work on Coinbase. And you're not thinking about how God doesn't care about any of that stuff or regulations and how he's going to move on the way he wants to move. So here's the deal with that. Now, the confirmation he had given me while messaging a brother didn't make sense. I explained that in another video how he confirmed it. If you want to go look at that, go look at that. That's not this video to be explaining that. But he confirmed to me in his own supernatural way. And he was confirming, putting two and two together from the first and the second video. If you obeyed instruction for the resetting of your orders because he told you to, you seeked him and he told you you could, okay, you're in good standing. If you didn't reset them and he told you not to reset them, okay, you good. You shouldn't have a problem. They should get filled because you were obedient and you seeked him first. That's the point and that's the key. It's a lot of people that get antsy when it comes to this because of the way they understand how things work normally. But if you don't trust God and his instruction, even if it doesn't always make sense, you're going to run into a trap. And that's just the way it is. It doesn't matter how you feel about it. And the craziest part about it, if you go outside of God's will for you and you have open orders, they won't be getting filled because you didn't do what God needed you to do. You didn't check your heart posture. So it wouldn't have mattered anyway. Just because you set an order doesn't mean that it's going to get filled. Are you in the right standing? So if you can agree to what I just said, if people aren't in good standing and their orders won't be filled, and you can say that, then that means order status doesn't matter, ladies and gentlemen. But because it says canceled, everybody wants to just assume, oh, that's wrong because of the way they understanding it. You can't tell me everybody's orders won't be filled that have an open order, but then turn around and say because the Lord says canceled ones will be filled that it don't make sense. Well, you just agreed to that. Everybody's orders won't be filled. That means order status does not matter. It's all about following what the Lord told you to do. That's the point, ladies and gentlemen. That's the point, ladies and gentlemen. And the Lord wanted me to specifically say this point. If that is how you're looking at things, that means you have security in the way things work instead of security in the Lord himself. Because then when he pulls you out of the way the normal works, or he tells you to do something opposite, then you have a problem. It's the same thing with the Red Sea. They was looking at Moses like he was crazy because it was out of the normal. So you have security in the way things work over the way God will move you as well. And that's also something you need to check because that can hinder you too, just because it doesn't make sense to you. If you are saying it is impossible for orders to be filled because they're closed or considered canceled in a worldly system, then you must not have read Nothing is Impossible with God. Because then you're saying it's impossible for your order to be filled even if it's canceled. That's not what God is. That ain't what the word tells me. That's not what it says to me. It says if you move by faith, you please God. If you trust the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding, that's why it's there, you're going to be all right. Obedience, following instructions, you're going to be all right. That's the thing. So for people wondering, wait, what am I supposed to do? What do you mean? What are you supposed to do? You should know if you went to the Lord and asked. Because if you're in this already, that means how he confirmed before with what he told you before, how he communicated with you before, he should be doing it the same way. If not more advanced, if you upgraded and increased your relationship with God, got closer. It shouldn't be a problem. You should know how to do that. If not, then you're doing something backwards like I stated before. And that's going to lead me to this last point. At the end of the day, you can listen to a bunch of different people. Sammy B for the light tells all of you to take it back to God in prayer. I don't say listen to what I'm telling you. I'm telling you what God told me to tell you. So when you go back into prayer with what he's given me to give you, now, okay, Father, where do I stand? That's what y'all are supposed to be doing. God will make it clear to you. Don't just look at that person or this person and say, this is what that person said, this is what this person said. Because 5 people may not have gotten that from God. 2 people might have gotten it. 1 person. You got to go for yourselves. And that's all to it. For those of you that didn't seek the Lord, for the people who didn't seek the Lord, you in error. Because you didn't ask before moving. And it's that simple. So I'm closing this off with nothing is impossible with God. And he confirmed that to me in a supernatural way earlier this morning, ladies and gentlemen. He confirmed that. So peace and blessings, and I will catch y'all in the next one.